Adding a new company or CUSIP can be done in one of two ways: manual entry and issuance, or actually importing the data from a tab delimited file. Either way, the certificates, shareholders, and share amounts are entered into the system for processing. To set up the CUSIP company shell, from the equity menu, select Add New Stock Issue, Edit. The data setups for the company consists of processing and reporting and other identifying characteristics that can be used. This data can be maintained at any time throughout the life of the issue. These characteristics are used by the rest of the system in varying capacities. You have the ability to describe the DRS details, DTC fast eligibility, cost basis tracking, certificate properties, book, physical, or processing with both, a full description as well as what would be printed on physical certificates, the class designation, and many other items including reporting classifications such as the TA2 report. The system also tracks physical inventory, and this is where you would set it up whether you are going to actually track those physical pieces. If you decide to load in your data with the certificate import, you merely log in a compliance number, which is the transaction for the amount of the data you are entering. Once you have your CUSIP shell designated, you then browse through your machine to get the file that you need to upload, and that file must contain fields in a specific format, and they are to be tab delimited. Once you go ahead and import this file, the system then has all of your holders and share information. Once you've completed setting up your initial company shell or loading in a new company from a spreadsheet, the system then gives you your inquiry screen at the end to view. You have your list of top holders on the right-hand side. Should this company be a dividend-paying company, you will see recent transactions listed on the right-hand side. Notice all of the embedded links on this screen. You can access a securities holders list for this company right from this screen, any proxy reports, as well as seeing the actual issue detail. Shareholder account data entry. CUshare maintains a centralized shareholder contact file. To add both shareholder accounts and other contact information from the account holder menu, select the Add New Maintenance link. You have data fields for your shareholders as well as any contacts that you may need to maintain within the system. You have 5 lines of detail for the actual account registration or any name and address information. You have 4 lines of address. You have a city, state, zip field. Should it be a foreign holder, you would put other into your state field and then utilize the drop-down box for country. The system has the ability to store telephone numbers, an alternate number, which can be alphanumeric for designation, be it a cell or a fax. Email addresses, there's a placeholder to store an email address, and this can also be used should you decide to give your shareholders access to the data to view their own accounts. They would utilize their email address as the login, thus the need for the shareholder access drop down for yes or no. The system will maintain taxability, and if you have paying agency duties based on the classification of the holder and whether the tax ID provided is certified or not, will determine whether the system will withhold the mandatory withholding as required by the U.S. government. If they are certified, the system will not withhold. The system also tracks B and C notices as received from the IRS and will force withholding if necessary. The first 2 screens that you've seen here are the required screens. If you note on the top, you also have the ability to note the dividend reinvestment plans for a specific shareholder in the event the company that they hold in does provide dividend reinvestment. The system tracks relationships, for example, employees or board members. You also have the ability for payment instructions other than a physical check. If anything other than a physical check is notated under special payment instructions, you will be required to enter those payment instructions for a wire or direct deposit information. The system then gives you the summary for the account holder that you have entered, and based on the holdings for these shareholders, or if it's a contact, obviously you won't see any holdings, but you do have links on the right hand side where you can see the actual holdings. You have the ability to look at tax forms for any year. You can look at payments that have been given to this particular account and any maintenance. For example, if any name and address changes have come in, that's all noted in that report.